How's everybody doing out there today? Yeah, I'm here today with my nephew. Rick and I are going to continue to talk about forgiveness.
But no,
No.
forgiveness and
What?
also the heart, the
Oh
connection
yeah,
of the
the
heart.
heart. The heart. Where's my book? Okay, I don't know where my book is right now. But last week we were talking about forgiveness. We were talking about the heart, and I'm so excited because Rick and Tip wasn't able to be with us right at the moment, but we they were on the show with Alicia and Mike talking about forgiveness. And I thought that was so amazing. We are still in Dallas, Texas. Yay! At the grand finale of the 12/12 2023 what was it, conference.
Yeah, yes, conference.
Yes, conference. Yes,
Yes.
conference. And we're in the lobby, so
Mhm.
you'll hear there's cheerleaders here, there's soccer players here, there's
Yeah.
everybody here. It's a full house. But we wanted to come to you today. We're getting ready to go also on to our into our breakfast,
Mhm.
which will be the it's supposed to be a brunch, but it's a breakfast.
Breakfast
Breakfast
slash
slash brunch.
restaurant.
And we're going to be gathering for the last time until for this kind of setting till the next conference.
Yes.
So tomorrow, for those that want to join the 12/12 community at 5 a.m., we will start tomorrow with 30 days of yes. It's not ending here, it's continuing. Now, you remember last year we did confidence,
Yes.
and how much confidence have we seen since last year in yourself, in
Mhm.
myself? I've
Oh,
seen a great deal
oh, it
of
was
change.
phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. So can you imagine? And
Mhm.
I said this yesterday to the girls at the table. I said, the yes set us, no, the confidence set us up for the
Yes.
yes. And
Mhm.
where we're about to go with the yes will be phenomenal, I'm sure. It will
Mhm.
be phenomenal. So, Rick, I'm kind of going to let you flow today.
Okay.
He has this thing with the spiritual nutrition.
Mhm.
And he also is going to talk to us about how the conference has, he's felt and what the conference has done for him being here. He is like our, what do you call mascot? He's our mascot. He's a man that
Oh,
comes in and trooper. He's a trooper. He comes on
uh,
at 5 a.m. in the morning,
mm,
and he's there as him and Mike are there as our protectors, and
mhm.
we just thank God for them. So, Rick, just first, let's talk about your nutritional business
Okay.
and then go take it into the nutritional spiritual side, if that's okay.
No, no, no.
Whatever way you want to go, you can go with it. I'm
Okay.
just here to
You're
learn.
here to learn. Okay. So it's all connected. It's all connected.
Can I say, first of all, welcome to Leslie's Lessons Learned. I want to thank each and every one of you. I don't know if it's connected. I don't see any. Oh, wait, let's go to the chat.
Mhm.
Good morning, Ashley. That's my daughter.
Good morning,
Um,
Ash.
So I want to welcome you. I want to say that I'm glad that you're here. If you're here now or later, I appreciate the fact that you're taking the time out to see what we're talking about.
Mhm.
And when I think about you, and I think about you, some of you looking at, hey, Adrian, both my daughters is on this morning,
Good morning.
um, how your life is never going to be the same. And what I think about you, I think about those, and I always say, did you look in the mirror this morning and say, is life worth living? And my thought to you is, if you had enough to say that, then you tell yourself and have enough to say, yes, it is. It's
Mhm.
not, your life is not over. Situations come. Look, before we got to this conference, there's been a whole lot of, even at this conference, when I was on the stage talking, and I got down on my knees, said, come over here to your mother. She had just gotten a text that one of my cousins passed away.
Oh,
2 weeks
sorry to
ago,
hear
my
that.
sister was at her father's funeral,
Mhm.
and then now she passed away. So things have just been happening, that things that are out of our control,
Mhm.
things that, and when I say out of our control, only God can do it. It is in the hands of God.
Yes.
And yes, you might go through the most devastating thing, but I promise you that devastating thing can be one that builds you, not breaks you down, not tears you down, but it will cause you to live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. So hold your head up.
Yes.
You are unique. You are special. You are called by God for such a time as this. And don't allow the enemy to make you think that you're worthless, to make you think that you don't have what it takes. I used to say, I didn't want to go forth because, and I didn't want to do this because nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I don't really have anything to say, you know, and God had a different plan. And I just want you to know there's a different plan for your life. And to hold your head up, put your backs, yes, put your shoulders back, and keep it moving. Things will change. I forgot to say that.
Hey, there's a lot going on. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So you can go now.
okay. Well, thank you so much for having me on Leslie's Lessons Learned.
Leslie's lessons learned.
Okay, so as y'all can see, there's a lot of traffic going on here. We're here in Dallas, Texas. We're just finishing up on the Yes Conference, the 12/12 Yes Conference, which was
Yes.
phenomenal, top notch. We're here at the Omni Hotel here in Dallas. Just amazing from
Amazing.
beginning to almost the end, and we're getting an opportunity to really enjoy hearing each other's yes, but not only that, seeing what has happened from the first conference to this conference. So before I get started, my name is Rick Childs. I'm a health renewal coach. I'm a speaker and the Air Fry King. One of the things that has helped me get to one, sit here right now and talk to y'all has been a mindset change in getting my health together. And that started back in 2016. Back in 2016, I was 311 pounds with a host of health issues. And all those issues were weight related. Weight, weight related. Now, there are issues that may be hereditary, maybe in your DNA, but when it comes to how you take care of yourself as we get older, are we changing the things that we put in our system? Are we going to the doctor? Are we moving? Oh, that's key. Are we moving? As you see all the people going back and
Back
forth
and forth.
here,
Yeah.
they have a big volleyball tournament. So that's why you see so much
And
action and
the
movement.
outside when we was coming up, the
Mhm.
cheerleaders was out there cheering.
Was it? Oh, it was just a whole lot of
Yeah, it's
activity,
a whole lot.
and that's where, when we become stagnant, that's where our heart is not allowed to operate at its optimal performance. And even if it's just walking,
Yeah.
for me, when the light bulb went off in 2016, what happened was I started a journey where I was working out consistently and eating clean enough to be able to give my body what it needed to repair itself and to give me the energy that I need to be able to burn the calories. And I did that consistently. So, but when you do those types of things, you got to keep in mind all of the body functions that come into play, whether it's your heart, your kidneys, your liver, your lymphatic system, your arteries. All of those things come into play because the food that you're eating, the nutrients that you're getting, needs to travel and go to the right places.
Wow.
So for me, it was more than just losing weight.
Right.
Okay, it was more than just losing weight. I've done this so many times that I didn't make it a lifestyle, and I didn't look at what kind of things I needed to do to be able to be long term, not short term, but long term. And what I realized was after I lost, and get this, I'm gonna say this, and don't y'all think it's a typo. I don't think it
Okay.
was
Okay.
anything else. I lost 122 pounds in 7 months.
Wow.
122 pounds
You
in
were
7 months.
you were persistent.
Yes.
You was focused
Hmm.
and you had a target
Yes.
to live long.
Oh, most
To
definitely.
live long.
Most definitely. But what I saw was after losing the weight, that people around me, because I was in a community of other people doing the same thing, what
Okay.
I saw was once they lost the weight, they stopped what they were doing to lose the weight and didn't go any further than that. So that's where the lifestyle had to come in, and that's where my mindset change had to come in to make it a lifestyle and understand how my body operates, what things I need to get there. So first and foremost, even though I say this from a physical standpoint, it's a spiritual beginning. For me, it's God first, and then you'll never be last. So as you continue
I like
to,
that.
oh, thank you. So that God gave that to me so long ago, and that's been the greatest thing on this journey is I've used so many different things to keep me focused and keep me motivated. Whether it's a motto or something, that's how I operate. And I'll put stuff on a t-shirt or put something on the towel that I'm working
Mm,
out to remind me to look at, to say this is why you're doing this. This is why you have to continue. So when we talk about the spiritual health, spiritual health. So one of the things we don't understand is our mindset controls a lot of things that go on in our system, not just seeing and moving and touching, but also the functions of our body. When, say for instance, if we get scared, our body starts building up hormones. Say, for instance, you get a bruise, your body uses inflammation to protect that area. Say, for instance, you eating something that your body doesn't agree with. Now it's going to provide more inflammation to protect you, but also it's going to become excess. And when it becomes chronic, that's when you start getting all the health issues, the diseases and things that start to happen in your system. And again, for me, one of the things that I found out on this journey was, and this is where the spiritual connection comes, that I have a heart disease called AFib. And what I found out with AFib, one of the things is your heart is off rhythm.
mm,
So when your heart is off rhythm, it's not pumping correctly. The blood is not flowing like it needs to. There's so many different things that go on. It can cause inflammation because, like I said, if your system's not operating the way that it needs to, then now you're increasing the inflammation in your body, and that can be detrimental also. So once I found that out and went to the doctor and they told me these are some of the things I needed to do
hmm.
to try to correct it. So get this. I had to do a procedure where they basically put me under and stop my heart,
Right. Okay.
stop my
Hmm.
heart completely.
Hmm.
So if y'all understand, when your heart gets stopped, there's not a part that there's a chance that you can't come back.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
that's a serious procedure to get done, but that's what they had to do to bring the rhythm back. And then once they did that, I'm back in alignment. I think we were talking about that today, yesterday in the Yes Conference, the alignment. Everything has to be aligned, whether it's your body, whether it's your mind, whether it's what you think, how you move. So it's our spiritual health that is so important because the physical follows that.
It does.
It follows that.
It does. You know, when I think about it, and I think about how we were talking about forgiveness.
Hmm.
We're still on that forgiveness thing,
Hmm.
and how the heart resonates from forgiveness, and how we read the scripture, and I can't find my book right now. It's somewhere, and in it, it talked about when you don't forgive,
Yes.
God doesn't hear you.
No.
And when we think about that, let's just talk a minute about the heart
Mhm.
and forgiveness
Okay.
and what transpires. One of the things you said was that you have to go in for a procedure and they
Mhm.
stop your heart.
Yes.
How many times the rhythm of our heartbeat that is connected to God is stopped
Mhm.
because we're off beat, because we're off track, because something is not rightly connected. And
Mhm.
let's just talk about that for a minute. What does that look like? What is it the fact that um, we just go about life, living life, not understanding how Yahweh, which I call him, God, is connected to every aspect of our lives. He's
Mhm.
connected to our heart. Every aspect. Why? He is the creator of it.
Yes. Yes.
He has created each and every one of us. And when we get out of alignment, he's standing back. He says, I'm still here, but
Mhm.
till you get back in alignment, sometimes we got to get in on procedures where our heart is stopped and everything we do is stopped. You ever been in a place where everything you've done, it seems like it's on standstill, you don't hear from God, nothing is moving? Well, maybe you are in a procedure
Mhm.
that has to take you to the next place. So, when you think about that,
Mhm.
and you think about the spiritual side as far as how we operate or connect to God,
Mhm.
how does that look to
And
you?
so, okay, so I'll take this, and I talked about it yesterday. Was forgiveness for me, and it's continuous. All of us
Oh,
have
yeah, all
something
the time.
that is going to be continuous when it comes to forgiveness. So for me, understanding when I started doing the inner work, what I found was that I had a traumatic situation happen to me at the age of 8, which involved my stepfather, where he was verbally abusive to me,
Okay.
and I didn't realize that it traveled with me through my childhood, through teenage, adulthood, all the way up until I was 53 when I really started doing the inner work. And when that happened, what it caused me to do, I was already a natural introvert, but then I became an extra natural introvert. I was okay not following, I was okay not leading. And God kept telling me at a young age I was a leader, and I kept saying, I'll follow. And I just sat back and I just let things happen and things go around me. And it's not good, when you're in a position of where God wants you to be, but you choose not to move. But one of the things that I understood, that once I started to move and I understood who He created me to be, that I was hiding in plain sight. And He woke me up at 53. And no disrespect to anybody from the day I was born up to 53, but I was just going through life.
Just going through life.
And then once you understand that if you hold on to things that happen to you and you don't resolve it, and I'm gonna tell you, this is how I understood it. It was something that was a game changer for me when I was talking to my sister and my mother, and I was telling them about that situation and how I was doing the inner work and how it was progressing and healing. And I said that I thought back on that situation when I was with my stepfather and he asked me to hand him a tool, and I handed him the wrong tool, and he cursed me up one side and down the other. And when I was talking about that, I started breaking down, crying right there in
Mm,
front of my mother and sister. And I was so embarrassed by it. This is my mother and my sister. I shouldn't be embarrassed to be crying, but I said to them out loud, I can't believe at the age of almost 60, I'm still crying about something that happened when I was 8. And my sister said the most profound thing, and she said that the reason why you're still crying is because you've never healed. You're still 8. You're still at that 8-year-old age.
exactly.
So I carried that, not knowing that that was something that was holding me back, that it was something that was affecting my, not only up here, not only my connection with God, but also in my heart.
That heart.
And that's what one of the things I understood was that when people hold on to things, especially if it's against somebody that's present,
Yeah.
because what I had, the problem with it wouldn't even necessarily say it would be a problem because I never thought about it. But what I had experienced with my stepfather, he wasn't here. He's gone.
He's gone. And
But I
that
still
doesn't
needed,
matter.
I still needed to forgive him in order to be able to move on and understand and heal. And I'm gonna tell you what came out of that was it allowed me to understand that I needed to, one, go to my oldest daughter and ask for forgiveness.
Mm. That is so amazing
Mm-hmm.
because one of the things that it does, it travels from family to
Mm.
family. Let me
Yes.
just say,
Yes.
hi, London. My granddaughter's letting me know she's on too. Hi,
Uh,
London. Welcome to the show.
hi.
The other thing I want to say, forgive y'all, I picked a bad spot. Y'all probably can't, I look like a
Son.
ghost, don't I?
Oh.
And the sun is, when we
Hello.
first started here, now it's starting to come this way. But we carry things,
Mm.
and when we carry them from and never deal with them, never understand, you had to come to an understanding.
Mhm.
You had to come to a place to realize that you needed to, excuse me, to hold on a second, to
to yeah. So when you carry things, so look at it like this. When okay, so I'll give you an example. If you carry a lot of weight on your body, your knees have to support that. So when your knees are not strong enough to support that,
They hurt.
oh yeah, they start hurting. Okay, they start breaking down over a period of time
Oh,
to where they need to be repaired or replaced. So think
yeah.
about that when you're carrying that weight inside of you that is heavy on your heart. And that's one of the things that I found out as far as when I started really diving deep into the inner work was that AFib was not only a physical condition, but it's also a spiritual condition. And it was connected to my peace. My natural, what I require, and everybody requires it, but what I really require in order to flow, in order to be in alignment is peace. It's nothing more, nothing less. If my peace is broken, then I am broken in some form or fashion. I'm out of alignment. So when that happens, that's going to stress my heart, and that's what I've understood. So think about it like this: if you go into a cluttered house and that bothers you, that's putting stress on the inside of you. That's causing you to say, "I'm tired of looking at this unorganized
Declutter.
mess." You know, and if you continuously look at it and see it, it's still there, and it's still causing you the same reaction. And
Hmm.
people don't understand that when you have those types of reactions, your body don't realize or understand if it's something that you can address right then and there. It's just going to react to it, which means it's going to build a hormone or it's going to do something inside of you to adapt and help you or affect you. And that's why I say when you're carrying heart issues, when you're carrying things against people, when you out here on the highway and somebody didn't cut you
Uh
off
oh. Uh
and you
oh.
become not a child of
Yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
You
all the
forget.
things that that's still that's a weight.
Yeah.
All of that's still a weight. So
Because if you think about it, maybe you are a child of God, and you forgot for a moment.
yes,
When you come back to yourself, then you got extra weight because then you feel bad. You're asking
yes,
God to forgive you,
uh,
and you feel sorry because you allowed yourself to go there, and it was just for a moment. That's the same thing with unforgiveness. It just takes one moment. It
yes.
takes one moment to unforgive somebody. It takes one moment to forgive them. The choice is yours. We have free will.
Mhm.
We can walk around the rest of our life with blood pressure, diabetes, strokes, and heart attacks,
Mhm.
because we refuse to deal with what happened.
Mhm.
We refuse to say, I'm sorry. Refuse to, sometimes we don't even want to forgive the person for what they did. How about we talk about that? How about we talk about letting it go? How about we talk about releasing it, so that you can be free, not so much. And the other person, one of the things I know is that when you are holding unforgiveness because of something somebody's done, you're holding them in captivity as well as yourself. It's time to release it. It's time to release it. Yeshua went to the cross, which is Jesus Christ. He wasn't holding a grudge.
No.
He wouldn't have been able to go to the cross if he was holding a grudge. He wouldn't have been able to have the compassion to say, forgive them, they know not what they've done.
Yes.
To forgive us of our sins, to on behalf of the Father. I'm sorry, the sun getting to you now.
Oh
I'm
no,
sorry.
no,
Uh,
no.
you
Feels
know,
good. You need that vitamin
you
D.
need that vitamin.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you know what? And that's one of the things they said. I was listening to this talk show, and they said that people of color, when it gets hot, they go back inside instead of saying, "Oh, I'm not going out there; it's hot," and they won't sit in the sun, which is the vitamin D.
Yes.
So that's just a quick lesson. And when you said that, I thought about that. They said we won't sit in the sun to get to for our bodies to adapt to what it needs.
Oh, most definitely.
So we are missing vitamin D because we refuse to do one of his gift, what he's given us a gift of, the sun, the heat,
Hmm. Yeah, the
to
most
survive.
natural. Yeah, I mean that's the most natural thing that you can get outside of just oxygen, which you know in society now and all of the different things that's out there. And see, that's another thing, oxidative stress. People don't realize that oxidative stress comes in so many different levels, and what that means is it starts to break your cells down. So the environment, the food, like right now we're on the internet, the rays and stuff that come from the electricity that's around us, is breaking our cells down at a micro level. And that's how us, we start aging, we start having these issues internally. And that comes from that. So, like I said, being in the sun, receiving what God has created is probably I would say, the most important thing that we need to do. And if you're, and it's also a mood setter. It's definitely a mood setter. I don't know how many people could have a problem and issue and then go out in the warm sun and not feel better.
So yesterday, Eric Roberson was speaking. He
Mm-hmm.
last night he did a concert, and he said that when during the pandemic, when it first started, his son was in his room, and he just yelled out, "Laying in the sun!" And he went running to see what was going on, and his son, and he said the Zoom call was on, and the son was should have been in class, and he's laying
Right.
on the floor
Right.
in the sun, relaxing. And he said he went into the room and he just moved over and laid
Yeah.
in the sun with him. And then the other son came in the room, and he said when it was all over, the son just got back up and went back on the Zoom,
Oh yeah.
went on the Zoom call. And he was just talking about the sun and how laying there, what it had released,
Mm-hmm.
how what it had released. So I thought that that was cute. And he said he laid there and said, laying in the sun. I think he said
Yeah.
laying in
Yeah.
the sun,
Yeah.
and they just laid there on the floor in the sun for a moment. So when we talk about the heart and the different parts of the heart and how it functions, the heart functions doesn't function by itself.
No.
It doesn't. It has different parts of the body that it functions with in order. And one of them is oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
You were
Yeah.
talking about oxygen. One of them is that the heart pumps into the lungs where it is loaded with oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
When we take that breath, every time we take a breath, that is a gift from God.
Yes.
That is a precious
Mm-hmm.
gift. And we take it for granted. We take it for granted that we can get up in the morning and brush our teeth. We take it for granted that we can get in our car and drive. There's some people, I remember when my youngest daughter was a baby, and we were standing out. My car broke down, and we were standing outside, and it was rain. No, it was snowing, and I was complaining. We got to stand out here in the snow, and the father said, there are so many people that would love to stand in the sun because they can't stand anymore. They don't have legs anymore. They don't have the capacity. And I stopped complaining at that point, and I began to worship that I had the opportunity. It wasn't like we were standing out there. My daughter had on a whole snowsuit. Not, it wasn't just a little jacket. She had on we were covered.
Right.
And I was complaining because I could not get in my car. And I had to stand out there and wait for the bus. And that caused me not to stop complaining.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a form that causes us to be out of alignment. Complaining.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
People like to complain, and sometimes I'll say, it's okay. Let's not go there.
Mm-hmm.
We're here.
Mm-hmm.
We're here. And right now, we're here in this moment to talk to you. And we've been talking to you about health, been talking to you about the heart. And what you going to say?
No, I was just thinking when you said that about complaining that something we tell our son all the time when he comes to us and he brings a problem to us and we ask him, is it a small problem or a big problem? And in doing that, it allows him to stop and think about, is it something I need to complain about? Is it something that I need to one? Because when you complain, you got to be complaining to somebody. Okay, first and foremost, you're complaining to God because
Right,
He hears what you're saying.
right.
But then
Even though you
whoever,
don't think you are.
right, right, even though you don't think you are, and if a lot of us thought of it in that way, we probably wouldn't complain. But like you just said, there's so many things to be thankful for, and we complain about the most minute thing.
Yeah, we do.
Mm.
things that don't need to be complained about. And things we don't think about. Is it a small thing or is it a big thing or is it something to even talk about? We don't even think about those things ourselves. And we need to stop, think, listen to your heart. What's that song? Stop, think, listen to your heart and what it's saying.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We need to stop and think a lot of times. We need to really examine ourselves and know whether we are in alignment with God, if our hearts are pumping correctly, when you don't forgive and how your heart is breaking down. You know, people are brokenhearted because of things that were said, things that has happened, not just in their in their most times it doesn't start in the adult stage, it starts in the child stage, and we just keep adding to it and adding to it. And then when we get older, and it just takes one more thing, that the straw that broke the camel's back to break your heart, and you walk around with a broken heart that you don't want to deal with because it hurts so much.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That you're definitely correct on that. We can allow things and people, like what Lisa always says about pay attention to things and people that cross your path.
Hmm.
And, you know, I, one of the things, the mind is so powerful to the point where, to be honest with you, if a thought bubble came up on everybody's head, we probably
We be deformed.
right, right, right. A lot of us probably wouldn't have been in the conference.
No, we wouldn't have, that's for sure.
So, and that's the thing. People have to realize that what it's doing to our system. You mentioned about oxygen, but blood has to carry that oxygen,
Right.
and it carries the nutrients that we put in our body. So just think about this. It, if you're eating the wrong things, now you're adding with your oxygen the nutrients that are going to go wherever it's got to go to. It's got to travel through your liver, go through your kidneys, all of those things. Is it like I said, when my son comes up to me and asks me something or
Liver,
complaining
brain,
about
heart.
all of that, so now your body is asking, as these nutrients are coming through, is it a big problem or a small problem?
Mm.
It's a big problem because over a period of time, this is something else I tell people, with like with what my wife and I do is called health renewal, and it doesn't teach people to lose weight. It teaches people a lifestyle, and if you follow that lifestyle, then the byproduct is losing weight. So
Yeah.
one of the things we try to get people to understand is that when you understand how things work, you can make better decisions.
Better
You can
decision.
make better decisions,
Yes.
and that's your power of choice.
Hmm.
Your power of choice, like you said, God gives us free will. So God gives us free will if we say, I'm going down the street and I pass a McDonald's, but I know I can go home and make me a salad and a good meal.
Which
That's
one we
your
gonna
choice.
do?
Which one we gonna
Which
do?
one we gonna do?
Now I'm gonna tell you where the problem comes. If you're 20, it might not be too bad, but if you're 40, see, a lot of us are eating the same way we ate as kids.
And yeah, but your body begins to reject it.
Yeah, because your
My
body's
body
changing.
rejected
Mm-hmm.
before I got even in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I would, as soon as I take a bite of it, it would just, I would just regurgitate. I'd have to pull over on the side of the road, and I was like, so okay, McDonald's is out. Then I've tried Burger King,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the same thing.
Okay.
I could not eat it. So then I realized that that season is
Mm-hmm.
over. But I was glad it was over
Right, right.
because it's not healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and it just causes so many complications in the body. And the
Mm-hmm.
more I see documentaries and things on it, and
Mm-hmm.
how the society or the world create these things to keep us going to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
to keep us in a state where our body is breaking down. Those all those fast food places, once in a while is one thing, but when we were little, it was a treat.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time we got the treat, because at that time we were living in New York, and my mom and my dad and my grandparents were getting ready to move to Willenboro.
Mm-hmm.
And only time we got McDonald's was on the ride from New York to Willenboro. And
Okay.
we would wait, and we knew when we went up this certain hill, when
Mm-hmm.
we came down, McDonald's was right there.
Oh, okay.
be so excited about it. But it wasn't like we got it all the time. Whenever we got it, it was like a special treat,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, and we would be excited. But you know what? And I'm not going to go there right now, but this is one of the things. I'll just say this real quick. Sometimes it's not about health, but it's about children.
Mm-hmm.
And the children today, a lot of them are not getting anything to look forward to because they're getting it all now. Little girls getting their nails done, getting their feet done, getting weave. These are things that, as a progress goes on, when we were little, there were certain things that we knew when we got a certain age. That's what. Look, my thing was when I got 13, I knew I was gonna have a phone. I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna have a princess phone, because
Okay.
that's what they had back then. And so I looked forward for that. So, and when I got 16, I knew it would be something else that I was going to
Mm-hmm.
look for. We need to allow our children to look forward to things, allow them to grow up in that space, realizing that when I get this age,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have this, I'm going to be able to get that, and that it's not going to be given to them now. And when they get older, they have nothing to look forward to.
Right. Yeah. And so we when we talk about children, and you were talking about McDonald's, so one of the things that people don't understand has changed. Now McDonald's has been here for a
A
long, long
long
time,
time.
but the the brand, the colors of
Everything
the
changed,
thing,
right?
yeah, no, well, it has changed to update, but it's still the same except for the food. See,
Yeah,
so when
right.
you were going to
It
McDonald's,
was
the food was
different.
cleaner.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of chemicals in it.
No.
So now, and that's why you see so many children with diseases and challenges that you wouldn't normally see. And it comes a lot from the nutrition. It comes from not being active. It comes from all of the different stresses. All of the things that has been created to make things easier for us has caused us to be lazy. Has caused more stress on our system. So when we talk about the heart, just think about if you're on social media and you're looking at things. If you're a social media person and you're on there and you want these likes, but you're not getting those likes, or if you put something out there and somebody comments on it and it's not favorable, you're not gonna tell me that doesn't bother
That's one reason I was like, I'm not going on no social media. These people are vicious.
you. They
I'm
can
not
be,
doing it.
they
I'm
can
not
be,
doing it.
and don't get a million likes, they really gonna come at you. So that's the thing we don't realize. We get all these conveniences thinking that it makes life easier, but it really makes it harder when it's in the wrong
In the
hands.
wrong.
Like with your show, because you're promoting something positive. You're not promoting something negative or drama or anything like that. So you're promoting something uplifting, and that's good for our system. And that's why people need to understand that what comes out of your mouth. You have to be careful with your words.
Yeah.
What is the intent? Look at your heart. What is the intent of your heart when you want to say something to somebody or if you want to comment on something?
Especially if you're mean.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I used to be mean.
No.
I used to be
Uh-uh.
mean.
I
I
I
used
heard this before from you, and I'm like, no.
I used to be mean.
But that's how you know how good God is.
He's good. I was mean though because I
Mm,
was hurting
heard it. Okay.
because of life situations. It
Mm,
wasn't my makeup,
mhm.
but it was where I resided.
Okay. Okay.
And that's one thing we have to realize. That's a question. Where do you reside? Do
Mhm.
you reside in your pain? Do you reside in your hurt? Or do you
Mhm.
reside in unforgiveness?
Mhm.
Where are you residing? Are you residing in the grace? And we have great, God has given us grace even through our pains,
Mhm.
even through our trials and our tribulations. I want to say good morning. I see Pamela, she's at the airport. Safe travels, Pastor Jackie, Minister Wanda, Pastor Daphne, Adrian, and Ashley in London. Thank you guys for being there. Those are the names I see. And yeah, one of the things I cannot no longer eat. Pamela said she can't eat shrimps, and shrimps we know are not good for you.
Mhm.
And bananas. Oh, Michelle, hey Michelle,
Mhm.
Michelle, thank you
Hey.
for being here. We missed you this weekend. But bananas I cannot eat.
Mm-hmm.
Love them. Ate
Mm-hmm.
them for years.
Okay. Okay.
When I eat them now,
Mm-hmm.
I can't walk.
Okay.
Watch the.
Okay.
When I say I can't walk,
Mm-hmm.
I'm crawling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
but I tried it twice
Okay.
and it happened, and I was like, I need to leave these alone.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know if it's something, it was something in my body at that time or
Mm-hmm.
what it is, but when I see bananas, I'm like, man, I want a banana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's the same thing with our heart. That's the same thing with our spiritual lives.
Mm-hmm.
You can be rejected because of what you're putting into it. You can be rejected for what you're saying out of your mouth. You can be rejected because of what you think. And it keeps us separated from the kingdom. It keeps us separated from Yahweh, which is God, and it causes us to want to be right, but not right. Why? We won't deal with those issues that has caused us to be out of the parameters of the Spirit of God. And that's what I think about when I think about those things that attacks us.
Mm-hmm.
Bananas attacks my body.
Mm-hmm.
Think about shrimps and what shrimps and all those different things, what they actually do to the body, because they're scavengers.
Mm-hmm.
And we love them. We love the shellfish. We love the shrimps. We love well, I don't love them, but I used to sit and watch my daughter eating the little red crawfish or whatever they are. I used to be like, yeah, first of all, I don't want anything that don't have a lot of meat in it.
Right.
I don't want nothing. I got to search for the meat for. So I'm looking at people eat them and they're sucking it and loving it on. I'm like, but for what? There's nothing to it.
Nothing to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, when you think about it, and it says you was talking about the oxygen and how the oxygen causes blood from the lungs to pump into the vital systems in our body, and how the brain controls the thought memory, emotions, touch, mobile skills, vision,
Mm-hmm.
and our breathing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and all those parts only if God
Mm-hmm.
can create a body
Mm-hmm.
that every organ, every vital part of the body,
Mm-hmm.
the liver, the kidneys,
Mm-hmm.
the heart, you can function amazingly with one kidney.
Yes.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Only a God could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Make you a body that if somebody else needs a kidney,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my daughter, needs a kidney, as Vicki Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
She talked about how
Yeah.
she gave a kidney to her cousin
Oh.
and that she's functioning now on one kidney. But what she said was it made her realize how valuable life is
Mm-hmm.
when she wasn't able to get up off that table. And when she wasn't able to get up off that table, no, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
She thought about if she would not wake up, if
Right.
she would not get off that table.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, it's fine with me. But when she woke up and said she was still here, she recognized how valuable life is.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness causes you to have a valuable life. Forgiveness causes you to be in a place that 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 you can breathe properly, you can function properly, and you can think properly.
Mm-hmm.
The thought process, you have clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness brings you clarity where unforgiveness stops up your thinking process.
Mm-hmm.
It causes you not to function the right way and to cause yourself to be in alignment with the things of God.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so correct on that, and as we're talking, and I'm thinking, I just lost a friend, which was a part of the men's ministry team, and what really, I wouldn't say bothered me because I understand God's plan. Um, But what happened was the night before we had a meeting. We had a men's ministry meeting, the whole team, and we're talking and what we introduced some new members to the team. We infused some youth into our men's ministry team. So after the meeting was done, me and my friend we talked individually after the meeting, and we were just he was so excited about the direction that the group was going, and he was always that person that anything you ask him to do, he would raise his hand, no questions. His famous words is, "I got you." So, um, so we talked, and the last words that I said to him, not knowing that those were the last words, was that I love him. And he said the same thing back to me. And that's what we always said. He was one that would check on me, and I would check on him. And then to hear the next day that he passed, it just, really broke my heart because to say the words that we said to each other, not knowing. And what I want to say to people is tomorrow's not promised. So when it comes to forgiveness, when it comes to, and we're not even going to talk about forgiveness just in a understanding of forgiving people, but forgiving yourself. How about forgiving yourself by how you treat your body? Just like we were saying about bananas. You realize that they were bothering your system. You listen to your body, but some people don't do that. Some people will continue to eat things,
I
and
say, I know it
and
don't
they'll
like
take you're
me.
right. They'll take a tons or do something like that, you know,
Yeah,
but they're not listening to their body.
yeah.
And it's the same thing with forgiveness. If you have something against somebody that causes you to one change your mindset, change how you move, if you have to avoid them, especially if it's somebody that's intertwined in your circle,
That's a hard thing right there. That's
you
sitting next
know.
to you in church.
Oh, most definitely. And you sitting there, sitting right next to them, and like I said, if we had thought bubbles, we have a lot of places cleared out.
Look, wait. We can look at each other and say, the lies you tell.
Right, exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah, but I saw what you said.
Yeah, the lies you tell. But yeah,
So
that's good. That's
yeah.
good.
So we hold those things and we gotta get rid of them.
Yeah, I think about when you said that. My mother was. There's six of us. She has six children. Thank God we're all still living. And but she was didn't know. I don't know how to say it. She was a mother, but she didn't know how to be a mother.
Okay.
And it wasn't even that. She had so many issues herself. And she would even for me she would tell me she hated me, she tried to kill me twice, she was just always trying to, and I always said, because everybody said I was just like her. I looked like her, and that I was like her. And I always said that she didn't hate that part. That was the part she didn't hate. But she was in the hospital, and I talked to the nurse. The nurse said she was doing fine, and that she was oh, she was sitting up eating potato chips. She said, "Come on." At that time, they didn't have phones in the room, so she took the phone. The nurse took the phone in the room, and I talked to her, and we talked. And I was like, "I keep checking on you because I love you, but I was going there in the morning, and I'll see you in the morning." And the last thing she said to me was, "I love you too." 2 o'clock that morning, she died. She died 2 o'clock that morning. And one of the things that I had promised myself, and we were working on, at that time, she was living in Boston. I was living in uh, Jersey. She was going to come live with me, and I had promised myself that I was going to bring her there, and I was going to take care of her. She was going to have to do anything. That was my desire was that she would never die without love. That she would never die without knowing what it is to be loved. And she had a conversation with her parents that night, and they said something to her, and she died that night. She died with a broken heart. Now, here we go again, and my grandmother. And my grandmother's going into the voter registration place.
Mhm.
My grandfather was working the polls, so he took off to go get her,
Mhm.
and her and her girlfriend made him late. Made him late,
Mhm.
and he said something to her,
Mhm.
and she dropped dead, walking into the voting registration polls.
Mhm.
And I said to my sister, I said, he said something. And the neighbor that was with us said to my sister,
Mhm.
your grandfather said something not so nice to your grandmother.
Mhm.
And I prayed and I said, Father, I do not want to die from a broken heart. I do not want to carry that on in the family.
Mhm.
I wanted it to stop.
Mhm.
Because whether you believe it or not, dying from a broken heart is more real than you think it is.
Mhm.
Your heart can only take so much. Your heart can only take for so much unforgiveness. Your heart can only take so much of words,
Yes.
the words you say, the words somebody say to you, and after a while, it's going to stop beating.
Mhm.
We have to understand that these things are vitally important to our hearts, that we can live an effective, a vibrant, and a persistent life with the love and the care that God has given us.
Mhm.
We never benefit when we have those things to understand where we are and what the value is that God has placed on our lives.
Mhm.
He didn't make us to be unforgiven. He didn't make us to hold on and carry those things. He made us, and those things do happen. Those things are real. But at some point, we have to deal with it. And when you deal with those things, you bring a relief to your heart system, to your brain,
Mhm.
and just the functioning of life, because you begin to function differently. So I don't know if you have anything to say to that.
Well, what what you just shared, and words are so powerful. So,
Powerful.
and I understand it even more so as we talk about this because, again, like I said, when at the age of 8, when my stepfather cursed me up one side and down the other, those were just words. It wasn't physical. It was just words, but there were words that hurt me.
And what do we say? Sticks and bones may hurt my bones,
Mhm.
but words should
Right,
they
but
bother you.
they do. They do.
Words affect you.
Mhm.
And the words keep you from being in a connection with God, with God. It keeps
Right.
you separated.
Yep.
And it's important that we understand and realize how important it is that we keep ourselves whole,
Mhm.
that, um, keep ourselves protected,
Yes.
protected from those things that hurt. But when I mean that, if you got to go get counseling
Mhm.
and to deal with those things, if you have to talk to someone to deal with those things, it is vitally important that you do that. It is vitally important that you understand the effects that it causes on your heart.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I agree with that 1,000% because my wife says it all the time. Jesus and the therapist.
Jesus,
It ain't either or. You know,
very
God.
much true.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, God put people on earth. I mean, we talk about angels, but doctors. Anyone that crosses your path that can help you to get a better connection to God. It's not, 'cause I tell men this all the time that most men don't need a sermon, they need a reality check.
Reality check.
I
Reality
mean, they need a
check.
reality check.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I thought about this when you said that. My daughter was a teenager,
mhm,
Ashley, and she had a Christian doctor. And one day she came in, and my daughter would hold everything.
mhm,
She wanted to carry, she wanted to protect her mom. She always wanted to be, what did you say?
oh,
You remember what you said?
about, I guess, as far as men don't need a sermon, they need a
Oh,
reality check.
yeah,
I don't know if that was it.
Maybe, probably, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a true statement. And I'm gonna let you get back to that, and we're gonna
Okay.
close out.
Okay.
But I just want to finish. And the doctor said to her dad and I, he said, "I'm gonna need y'all to leave the room. I need to talk to her." And he talked to her, and oh,
Oh, Jesus and his therapist. Yeah,
okay,
most definitely.
yeah, we can deal with that.
Mhm.
And he said he prayed with her,
Mhm.
and he broke some chains in her life at that point. And when he did that, it changed her life in the way she thought. That didn't mean she didn't go through it, didn't mean that she's still helping, but she was able to function as a teenager and do the things as a teenager that she needed to do. So yeah, we know that no matter what we go through, no matter what comes our way,
Mhm.
we already talked about the God side,
Mhm.
and we talk about the we can't separate anything we do without Yahweh. We
Yes.
can't separate anything that we do without Him being a part of our lives. He has to be a part of our lives. He has to be in a place that we understand and He understands that without communion with Him, that we can't go to the next place. We are stagnated. We are stopped. But it's okay if you got to go to a counselor.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's okay. We have been taught in the church realm
Mhm.
that you can't go. That is not effective.
No.
And if we look at the disciples had all kinds of careers. You had lawyers, you had doctors, you had therapists. Everything they were. He's Yeshua surrounded himself with that. He surrounded himself with the things that connected you and him together. Your heart is surrounded with things that connect you and your body and God together.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So as we close out, we want to thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. I want to thank you, nephew, for coming on with me.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, we missed Tiff, but I appreciate you doing this, you know. And we were trying to figure out where we were going to do it, and then I looked at the clock and I didn't realize the time. It's like, oh my God, let me get myself together.
See how things worked out.
They worked out. They worked out, and I'm so appreciative. So, are there any last words you want to say?
I just want to say thank you again. Um, I mean, even with everything that's going on this weekend, you were able to show up, and that's so important. Because I'll be honest with you, if you didn't, I'm pretty sure it would have weighed on you.
Yeah,
So now it's off your
it's off
checklist.
my checklist.
So now your
I'm
heart is
good.
good. So that's so important,
Yeah,
that we can release and remove things that we will carry,
yeah.
with us that we feel like what we didn't fulfill. And I'm so glad that you were able to do that, and I can support that
Amen.
anytime you need
Oh, I'm so happy. That's exciting. Oh, yes, 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 yes. So we'll see you again next week. I think Alicia and Rick will be back. Oh, Lord. I guess
me.
Alicia and Mike and maybe Rick and Tiffany will be back on with us. And I think we're about to come to the close of forgiveness. I think, but it's such a big topic, and we think we're going to talk about one aspect of it, and I don't even know if we really. I hope we said something that was justice enough for you to take something away and carry it with you through the week.
Yeah.
And remember that you are loved, and that when you look in the mirror, I want you to look in your mirror and say, I love myself. You know, there was a exercise that you remember Dion Blackboard. She was with 1212,
Uh-huh.
and she was like, Leslie, this is exercise I do. You should try it. She says, I look in the mirror, and I don't just look in the mirror. I take time, and I tell myself I love myself,
Mm.
and I've been doing it. It's almost like a 30-day challenge. It will change your life.
Mhm.
If you have issues and if you can't look in the mirror and see anything good about yourself,
Mhm.
then there's issue. On Friday, Erica did that mirror challenge,
Yeah.
and when I looked in there, I was like, wow, before I would have been like, this, I hate that. I looked in the mirror and I said, I'm beautiful.
Hmm.
I'm beautiful. I want you to know that you are beautiful and that, well, first of all, there's nothing you can do about that. Why? The word says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So until next time, we say we love you and we just want the best for you. And we pray that every day this week you look in the mirror and you begin to love on yourself and forgive somebody that you feel like you can't forgive, even if it's yourself. Until next time, have a wonderful day. I love you.